Welcome everybody to the latest episode of Dynamic Diecasters. I know it's been a hot minute, but I'm trying to start to get these filmed again. So I think, it was a while ago that I filmed the last one, so I don't even remember the last episode that I stopped on. But in this episode, we're going to actually start building the Marvel Infinity Gauntlet, so the gauntlet that Thanos wore in the Avengers. So this one will be the very first unboxing. Then we'll build the first few sections of the glove. But with that, we'll go ahead after this short intro, which I hope you guys enjoy it. We had a fun time putting it together. So when we come back, we'll go ahead and get started with issue 1 of Build the Infinity Gauntlet. And we'll go over the particulars. See you in a second. Welcome back. Like I said before the intro, we were going to be starting this build, and there are actually only 2 issues in the build, in the starting of the build. It's called, and I'm missing some stuff in the box, so I'm not sure where that went. There was like stuff telling you, like I had a poster of how big the actual gauntlet was, but so basically the first package was issues 1 and 2. The next package will be issues 3 through 6. And then every issue after that will be 5 issues in total. I don't remember how many in total. I think it's around 100 issues will build the entire thing. But maybe it was in here. I don't see where it's been so long since I got these, it tells you where we're sitting. But we'll go ahead and get started with issue number 1, which it's, if you guys can see, it goes through a whole, each issue goes through an entire, entirety of the film. So like it's talking at the movies, how they forged the gauntlet. And then it looks like this first assembly, if you guys can see here on the screen, it's the reality stone. So that's gonna be, I believe, this box. Yeah, 1, does this say 2 on it? Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this box, and I'll show you guys how big this thing. I wish I don't know what happened to the poster, but the poster detailed out in size how big this thing was, or how big this thing's gonna be. It's gonna be absolutely massive. But so there's not very many pieces in here, which I'll go through each individual one here in a second. But the first piece is called A01, which, if you can see, it's the part of the glove. So if you guys know the glove, this is the middle part of the hand. So this is the bigger stone, and then you've got the 4 stones up here. So this is basically the left part of the hand. And so you can see this is just the bottom part of the hand, which is basically the size of my entire hand. But that's piece number 1, and then we've got A02, which is another metal piece. And then, which it looks like is what fits the Infinity Stone. Then we've got B01, which it's the reality stone itself. So you see it's a little plastic red piece. Then we've got the electrode 1, so this looks like probably where the LED will be for the reality stone, and on the back it looks like where I'll be putting probably batteries. And then we've got C01, which is another, it looks like the piece where where the electrode goes, so you can see that here. It's a plastic piece with little metal pieces on it. And then it looks like there's a D01, which is a little baggie right here that you can see. There's many different little pieces in there. So, oh, jeez. I already dropped a piece. I'll have to find that in a second. Gosh. So, we've got D01, like I said, which it looks like the backing of the battery compartment. And then we've got D02, there's 4 of them. It's these little plastic brackets here. There's 4 of those. And then there's 13 screws. Which are in this bag here. And then there's 2 springs, which I think that's what went flying when I opened that bag up. So, and then lastly, there's a screwdriver they gave us that basically matches kind of the color, which I don't know how long I'll use this. Historically, when I use these screwdrivers, they do not last very long. So they kind of, the ends kind of break off. I don't know if I'm too strong to deal with them or what, but give me a second. But it says here the reality stone deep red in color was hidden in the ether, and that your assembly begins with the setting of that stone and the assembly of part of the back of the gauntlet. So as I look for I'll be right back while I look for these springs that fell. It looks like both of them did somehow, so I'll have to find them in my carpet right down below, which I can't believe both of them fell, but I guess they did. A great start to my build. Here we go. Luckily, I found both of them fairly quickly. So with that, I'll go ahead and look at doing the build step by step. So here we go. So it looks like, if you can see, it looks like we're going to be, step 1 is electro 1 is the LED circuit, switch and battery holder that will illuminate the reality stone from the inside. And we'll start by placing part electro 1 inside C01. So it shows it with the switch at the bottom. So basically just like this, with the 2 screw holes at the top. It's funny, this picture does not even match this at all. Trying to see if I'm doing it right though. Looks like the switch should be at the bottom. I want to make sure that this is aligned right. Yeah, so it looks like it would go right here inside the hole where the battery is, a battery compartment is. So with that, I'll take 2 screws, and there were like 13 screws I think, so just want to make sure I don't lose those in here, because they're black on my black table. And there were 2 of them, which I might end up using. One's in the basically diagonal of each other, so one's going to go here, and I'm not going to tighten them too tight because this is going into plastic. Historically, if I've done that, if you tighten them too tight, you could break them. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go where it starts to tighten and not tighten it too much. So there's step 1. Step 2 is put the 2 springs in position, which if you see, it looks like it's along these 2 parts right here and these pieces right here. They're not really going on too well for some reason. At least that's what it looks like to me, is those 2 holes. The arrows are pointing. Then fit the stone, which it looks like it's on top of the screw holes. And it looks like it goes this way because the picture shows them going like this. And then it looks like I put 2 screws on the back end, which doesn't. And oh, and then I position the cover over this, so A02, that metal piece I showed you. So you put the stone here, and then this piece covers it. Right here. So let's see if I can get this to. Okay, why doesn't that want to go in though? Like that's, so there we go. Now the screws will go in these 2 holes. Same thing, these are going, well these are going into metal, so it's probably going to be a little bit different, but I'll tighten them until they stop. I will not over tighten anything. And it says hold the cover closed, which is what I'm doing right here. I don't know what the springs would be for though. Maybe you press this to get it to light up, maybe. The step 3 is place the 3 cell batteries in the battery holder, which that was the other thing I didn't mention. They gave us 6 batteries. They're little tiny LR41 batteries. See how easy these are going to be to open. Batteries are notoriously hard to get open, but these seem a little easier than most. This episode won't take very long, I don't think, because literally I think I do this. There's not many more parts left. I think I gotta mount this to this and that's it. But so it says positive and negative, which these I'm not sure what is positive and what is negative. There we go. Okay, I don't think it's supposed to like stay on, but okay, and then it says to cover it up with the D01 and secure it with a screw. Now, you got to place the two of these, D02, which are the over the two magnets that will hold the assembly in place on the Gauntlet. So we have to take these, put them in the little holes right here. If you see, I got to put these two in here. Do they only go a certain way? Can't tell. And then put screws in there to hold them in place. There's 4 screws for this part. And plastic into plastic, so I'm not going to go too hard with this. When it starts to become hard, then I'll... It's interesting that it's just held in by magnets on the on that piece I showed at the very beginning. It's funny that it's not mounted in more than that. And it looks like that's it for step 4. Step 5 is in the first part, in part A1. We have to basically do the same thing in this piece right here. So we got to put these plastic pieces in the little, where the magnets are at, and screw those in. Which it seems like, based on, what the, gosh, seems like these only go in one way, into the holes. Yeah, and then there's 4 screws for this part too. Seems like we're going to be doing the same thing in issue 2 with the yellow stone, is what it looks like to me. But we'll see, based on what I'm looking at. And these are going into metal, so it's going to be a little bit different. Like those went pretty much all the way in, but you don't want to tighten them too hard because you could break the plastic piece that you're screwing in. Okay. Okay, so that's step 5. I think that's it for issue 1. I think the last step for the issue actually is to just put the stone assembly in that hole. So yeah, finish by inserting the stone assembly as shown into the hole in A01 that corresponds to the reality stone. It will be held in place by the magnets, but can be removed to change the batteries. Oh, that makes sense. So there we go. It fit right in, and I believe that's it for issue 1, because I don't have any pieces left besides, yeah, I don't have any pieces left for this stage. So as you can see, that's what it looks like, what after the first issue is supposed to look like, and that's what we've got right here. And then it says, once the gem is set in place, when the reality stone is pressed, the push button will be activated. You now have the power of one of the infinity stones in your hand. And there you go. There's the red, and then you just press it to turn it off. So that's issue 1. It says basic assembly tips. Using of the screwdriver, it's magnetized, so it can be used to place the screws in position. If necessary, tweezers can also be used. Positioning the screws, they should go in as straight as possible. Ideally, the screwdriver and screws should form a straight line. Tightening the screws, like I was mentioning, tightening the screws sufficiently so that the fit is firm. Over tightening risks deforming the part or damaging the screw, which I have done in the past. And then storing the parts, keep the assembled parts and any remaining screws in a safe place so that you can use them in the next stages. As you guys can see behind me, my Ecto 1's right here. I've got the X-Wing right here, the Titanic's right behind me. I've got pop figures, Star Trek's right there, and behind me over here, and right behind me, you can't see it, but the beginnings of the Knight Rider car, and then on the other side over here is the Back to the Future DeLorean build. That's where we're at on that one. And then stage 2 is more of the same of what we just did. There's items in here for just the history of the Gauntlet. But in this one, we're going to be dealing with the Mind Stone, which is the central stone of the Infinity Gauntlet, which was hidden in Loki's scepter, if you guys remember. In this issue, the Mind Stone is mounted, and then part of the back of the Gauntlet is assembled. So it's going to be kind of like what we just did, except it's going to be the middle part of the hand. So with that, we'll go ahead and open this box and go over the parts the same way we did with issue number 1. Oh. Well, like I said, the vastness, the size of this thing is just going to be huge. So A03 is the left part of the hand. So I showed you the right part of the hand, or left part of the hand. This is the right part. So it just dwarfs my entire hand, this side of it. So when you merge it with the other side, the Mind Stone is pretty big. It's going to be right here. But that's the first part. B02 is the Mind Stone piece, which is this piece right here. You see how big it is. That's that piece, and then we've got C02, which is the hold for the battery and the LED. So the LED is going to go right here, and then the battery is going to be put in behind. And obviously these are the magnets for the middle piece. So again, like I said, the same thing as the previous one. Then we've got all the other little pieces are in here. I'll be careful not to mess the spring up, because there'll be 2 springs that'll pop out of here like last time. And excuse me with the new setup, I'm gonna have to get used to like the way I have to film these things, so it might look a little janky in this go around. But there's D01 again, so the battery hold cover right here. And then we've got electrode 2, so this is the LED with the switch at the bottom and then the battery holder on the back. And you see how much bigger that piece is because of how big this stone is. Then we've got D03, which is 4 of them. These are slightly different from the last ones. These have 3 holes in them and a big circle in between. So these are slightly different, probably just because of the size of this piece. So there is 4 of those just like before. And then we've got the Now see, I don't know how I lost the screws, springs. Oh, they're both connected. No, there's two springs right here. They're like interwoven, which will be interesting how to get them apart. But there's two springs right here. And then obviously there's gonna be screws. There's 17 in this bag. I had 3 left over from the previous one, so I would envision we're gonna have 3 left over this time too. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started with this build, and it's gonna go along the same path. So we're gonna take C02, and we're gonna take the electrode. This, let's see, I'm gonna have to make sure I got this right though, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is the way I need to hold it. The switch needs to go at the top, and we mount these right like this in here. Gonna make sure it goes into the right parts. So obviously it has to fit in the hole where the battery is. So gotta get it in there. That's of prime importance, is to make sure this goes in that piece where the battery is. The first one was a lot easier than this one's being though. Like these pieces, see, it's bending for some reason. Haven't even used any force, which is kind of crazy. There we go. I wonder if they were bent to begin with. And then we just screw them in, like we put the diagonal screws in like we did the first time. So let me open up this. Oop. With there being 17, you must have to screw in 3 of these, because I think there were 12 in the last one. So all 3 of those must require a screw, is what I'm thinking. But one screw goes up here. And that's tight. I don't want to go too tight, like I said. It'll mess things up. Oh, dang. That was literally going in the hole and then popped out. Why do these already seem to be messing up? Like, swear to God, they must use the cheapest screws and shit, because sometimes it's like you pay the amount you do for these parts, and it almost seems like that's not even, yeah, it's not even going. Why does it seem like, okay, it's really strange. It seems like that one down here is not, well, I guess it is, but it just doesn't seem right. But yeah, for the amount that you pay, it doesn't seem, sometimes it doesn't seem like it's commensurate to the amount that you pay for these things. After that, then you turn it around. No, yeah, that's weird. They have us putting the batteries in before. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I put the batteries in. The next step, put the batteries in. Maybe that's because you gotta I gotta combine it. Oh, that's why. That's why there's more screws. You actually do combine it with the piece from from issue 1. So before you put, and that makes sense because the Mind Stone's split between both sides. I don't know what I was thinking. I get to struggle with the battery part again. I'll use the same strategy this time. Hopefully it'll work again. See, I can tell you, this one's loose right here. Because this thing keeps moving around. But now you gotta put the pieces on the back. Finally got that piece in for you guys that were, well, I edited that out, but you got 2 pieces here, and 2 pieces here, and then 4 screws that I get to put in. Okay, these are kind of strong magnets, I can tell you that, because literally almost took the screw out of my hand. But I wish I was hoping I would be able to show you guys the. I'm gonna have to see that one. Seems like it. Like, see, I didn't even over tighten that, and I think that one just didn't. Like, it just. I barely screwed that one in, and it feels like it just kept going. So I'm just gonna stop. Like, that one's about close to tight. And then I gotta figure out, I think the next, here soon, I gotta put more screws or more magnet pieces. I think that did the same thing the other one did. That's the end of stage 2. Now we move back to the gauntlet we got, and we started in stage 1, and we got to do one of these down here with the 2 screws. So right where the Mind Stone's gonna go. Okay, it took the screw from me. Yeah, these are pretty strong magnets in these pieces, I can tell you that. Because that literally took the I just dropped the screw again. I don't know where it went. I think it's right there. But what is going on? See, it took it right off the screw from up here. This is magnetized, remember? What is going on here? I'm having a time with this second issue for some reason. Okay, what is going on? Is this not magnetized anymore? What the? The screws are just falling off of it. And there's step 3. Step 4 is to do that same exact thing on the piece that came in this issue. So right here, we put this and 2 more screws. You see the magnets pulling the screwdriver and the screw out of the hole. Yeah, that's a strong magnet. And I think it's almost counteracting. See, like, it's not letting, this is supposed to be magnets. Either I screwed the magnet up, or it just seems weird that it's, like, it's pulling the screw out of the hole slightly. I almost have to push it most of the way in before I can even start screwing. I have another screwdriver that I might use in the future that I use with my other builds. See, that one seems like it's just spinning. all these screws, so far the build quality of this thing isn't that great to me, but we'll see. We'll see as it gets bigger how it's going to be, but like that one stopped already, so that one just, yeah. So now it looks like the next step, step 5, is the two parts of the back of the hand are fitted together like this. And then looks like on the back end, 6 screws are used to join it together back here. So looks like this piece here. See if it's, see how it's sticking now? That's funny. I think it's, I know it's these two in the middle. Like this is one of them. Like that should have, all of these are like, it's almost like you put it in there and then they just start spinning. I'm not over tightening them, I'm barely frickin' putting them in. See, it should get to a point and be tight, which I'm not getting to that point at all that I'm feeling. Like that one is, like that one's tight. And then we got these two down here. And it looks like probably either these two or these two. I can't, it's kind of hard to tell with the way that the picture is. I know these two down here are these two. Like this one. Like that one tightened too. That one did not, it just kept spinning. Yeah, see that one barely even went in. See, I'm thinking it's that one and that one. That's these two is what I'm thinking, because the other two go straight through, they don't join. These two go into each other right here. So that's what my guess is. The other two are like out to the front, so I can actually see the front, like the holes. These two I cannot, so I'm assuming these are the two that are joining it together because they're like combined. And the way that the joints are just different than the other two. Come on. Now the magnet just isn't working on this thing. On this screwdriver. I'm going to have to go back to my other one, I think. Because this one's going to be fun to put in with the magnet not working on the screwdriver. Because it's just not, for one, it's not, I can't, with my kind of bigger hands, I can't get this hole's in a weird spot. Then I can't get the screw to, maybe I got lucky with that one. Oh, there we go, I think I got it. Yep. And there's the 6 screws for that. Okay, so now that's step 5. Okay, we don't even do anything with step 6 now? Okay, so yeah, I guess it says that's it, I guess. So, okay. So we don't even finish anything from this point. So it says parts B02, which is the Mind Stone, and the 2 springs that were together will be used in the next delivery. So I have to store them carefully. So they will go behind me on this shelf behind me. So with that, that'll conclude this episode of Dynamic Diecasters, where we started the Infinity Gauntlet build. So, well, as you can see, this is the completed part of it. So, in this issue, we completed the back part of the gauntlet, which you could already tell how big this thing's going to be, because this is the back part of the hand, and this is how big I am, and it literally is half of my width, which, again, it would have been nice to see the poster, but obviously in the future builds we're going to build those little compartments for each stone, and then the rest of the gauntlet itself, we've only got the back part of it right now. And then the other part is we've got the Mind Stone piece right here that we'll do in the next issue, and then obviously this is the battery and LED compartment for said stone. And then the other part we've got is the two springs that we'll put in here, that'll comprise of the pushing of this stone. So I'm just going to set this in there for now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. The next issue that I'll be starting again in the next episode, though, will actually be the continuance of the Ecto 1 behind me. So that'll be the next issue, and I'll have to look in I think the DeLorean followed up the Ecto 1, and then the third was the X-Wing behind me over here. The fourth episode, I think, was the Titanic, which is over here. You could see part of the deck right there above my finger. And then we have actually it's the Enterprise that was fourth. Fifth was the either the Titanic or the Knight Rider build. And then we'll come out with the next Infinity Gauntlet build after that. So there'll be 6 or 7 episodes of different builds before we get back to the next episode of the Infinity Gauntlet. But if you guys haven't liked and subscribed to our channel and you want to see more of this content where I'm going to be building stuff, hit like and subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified when the next episodes come out. We obviously not only have these builds, these I just started up again, but we're going to be building more Legos on here. We're also we also have our podcast that we release, and then I've got my playthroughs that we'll be coming out with as well. So, ton of content getting ready to explode on the channel, in addition to what is already out there. But for all of us here at The Heart of Geek, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good night, and see you next time.